So how did I make $918 trading Apple call options? So looking at 1231. On the 30-minute time chart. 1231. So this candle right here. So basically what I did on 1231, right? Yeah. It's basically what I did. I played call options as soon as this candle right here. So I played call options on Apple as soon as it landed on the 9-day moving average, and just waited for a bounce off that 9-day moving average, and then pretty much throughout the whole time, 1312, 1324, 1329, and then 1356. So looking at 1356, which would be this candle right here, the 14 candle. So basically, in this scenario, this candle right here, in this scenario, basically my position was down. I want to say it was down maybe 8%. So what I did, I was like, okay, I'll just buy a couple of more Apple call options, try to average down. And basically, if Apple does decide to make a sudden U-turn towards the upside, I'll sell out the position. And basically at 1505, I sold out the position, making $918 trading Apple call options. So 1505 is not this candle, but this candle right here. So basically, once I saw that, okay, this 15 candle had trouble reclaiming that 180/200-day moving average. Once Apple reclaims that 180/200-day moving average, I'll sell out the position and just move on to the next trade. So that's how I basically traded Apple. Basically, how you could have played this is that you could have, honestly, you could have played here once Apple landed on the 9-day moving average on the 12 candle. You could have played here on the 1230 candle once Apple bounced off that 9-day moving average on the 1230 candle. And you could have played puts, honestly, if you wanted to. I mean, once basically right here, when Apple wanted to break above the 180/200-day moving average, it saw a rejection by it and just went down. And then you could have played put options here on this 1330 candle, tried breaking that 180 and 200-day moving average, got rejected by it and just went down. So there's multiple ways that you can play in the market. You can play calls or you can play puts. It's like a personal decision that you decide to play. So what my strategy is basically, step one, I try to find a particular stock that I'm interested in and try to see if it's a good opportunity to play. And then the second step would be just try to use the moving averages as my entry points, whether it's to play calls or puts. In this case, I played calls. And then the third step is just to sell out the position once it's up either 10 or 15% sometimes. So usually I try to aim for realistic percentage targets for the day. Most people try to aim for unrealistic percentage targets, and they always tend to make those mistakes of these traders feel like they'll always make a 100% gainer every day. That's it's likely that could happen, but the chances of that happening almost every day is really slim. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that when you're trading and you see that your trade is not going your way, you have to know when to cut your losses, because if you just hold your loss until the very end, it's just going to look very bad on your account, because you're basically just at that point just gambling away your money. So try to keep in mind of what's the most that you'll take as a loss. So for me personally, what I try to do, if if that specific trade is not going my way, I'll try to sell out for a 10 or at least a 15% loss, and I'll just move on to the next trade. I'll try to instead of aiming for a 10% gainer next time, I'll try to aim for a 20% gainer next time. So basically just try to mentalize where you take your wins and where you'll take your losses at, and basically just try to use the moving averages as your entry points or as your exit points. So when I say that, using the moving averages as your entry or exit points, so here's what you could have done, right? So you could have played, you could have played the 1330 candle. Let's say you played put options as soon as it approached the 180 or 200-day moving average, right? So what you could have done is you bought put options once it got rejected by the 180 or 200-day moving average. The next step would be, where do I sell? When do I know to sell, right? So the next way that you can know when to sell is when basically after Apple gets rejected by that 180 or 200-day moving average, basically now you want to wait and see if Apple can approach that 50 or 20-day moving average. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm going to bring it up closer. So you see where this, where the 1330 candle is, and you see the 50 and 20-day moving average. So once Apple approaches either of those moving averages, those are your exit points of where you could sell out your position. That way you're a person that's having trouble of when to sell out of a position. There it is. Basically you'll know when to sell out your position, and not just like relying on on pure luck in a way. So that's a way that you could manage your way of knowing when to sell out your position. Me personally, I also do it this way. This is the second way I do it. So let's say I buy, so this very same candle, let's use this same candle, the 1330 candle. I played put options on Apple as soon as it got rejected by the 180 or 200-day moving average. And now what, right? So I'll pay attention to where it says 16.86%. So if my position is up now 5 or 10%, however it responds to that corresponding candle, right? And how it affects that percentage of that position I'm in. Basically, I'll sell out the position once it's up either 5 or 10%. So I'll try to be realistic. I won't try to be unrealistic. So that's another way that you could do. Like, you could just try to mentalize and be like, okay, I'll try to aim for a small, percent target for the day because I don't want to, be risky for the day. So those are two ways how you could, know when to sell out your positions. So that's pretty much it. This is not financial advice. If you guys want to sign up with my Webull link, you're free to sign up with my Webull link located in the description below. That's pretty much it. This is not financial advice. As always, take care. Bye.